from now, nobody will stop me from being the one that'll throw the switch and gas you out of this life for good, you son of a bitch!
Get away from her, you bitch!
I'm connecting the bypass circuit now, sir. It should take another half hour.
Captain, one of the aliens has just entered the bridge.
Understood.
We're less than 1 million kilometers from the pulsars. We must...
Hello everybody. I hope you are all well and welcome to the sci-fi episode of Women of Nerd Culture. Saying that makes me want to just kind of sit and sing science fiction. But that's not what I'm here to sing. I'm one of your hosts, Sarah, and with me, of course, is the Lady of Space and Time, Becca.
Hello.
Really, I think I should just rename you the Lady of Sci-Fi today. And our Lady of Horror, Sammie.
Hi, I'm back. Yes, the coven is complete.
I did miss
this
you.
week.
The coven is complete. Now, before we get going, should we get the disclaimer out there?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Second time I've done it today. Let's go. So, everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you'd like to talk about anything from today's episode, please come and join us on our socials, the Discord, or the comments section, where we can have an open discussion. But what we won't have is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong, because we can all agree to disagree in fandom. So, let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behaviour out of her nerdism.
Hoorah. Right, now this month, we want to talk about some of our favourite characters from sci-fi. Whether it's TV, film, books, it's a huge topic with many great choices. Science fiction, or sci-fi as we know it, covers a lot more than you first think. With real or imaginary science and technology as part of its plot, setting, or theme. As it's fiction, some of it we can be thankful is now real. Or is not real, sorry. If only some of it was real. But some, well, I was going to go on to say, but some parts I'm sure I can speak for everyone when I say we wish could be real. I was thinking more teleportation myself. I don't know about you guys.
Think of the school run.
I know. And I mean, for the love of horror, Sammie, we could just do that and we could be there.
And then you could just go home and then it's like, oh.
Exactly. Sleep in your own bed.
That'd be amazing. I feel like I teleport every morning when I get up for work and go from the bedroom to this room because it's literally next door.
Yeah. Sci-fi. It can cover time travel, space travel, robots, cyberpunk, steampunk, AI, immortality, aliens, and so on. And that's without going into the sci-fi crossovers. There's more obvious choices of sci-fi than others, but I'm hoping that there might be one or two surprises in this episode that make you go, Now, I don't know about you guys, but I found this one really hard to choose.
Tell us about it.
Really hard.
Yes, and for the fact that I am so embedded deeply into sci-fi, this was really hard for me.
I can appreciate that. I had to. I'm not the biggest sci-fi person, nerd or otherwise, but within horror there is sci-fi horror. So I kind of looked down that route, and one that may surprise you, but not after a conversation we had earlier.
Okay.
Right. Interesting. But shall we give it a go? Try to identify a few. And we'll start as we normally do with what's your early memories of sci-fi, Sammie?
Oh, I was dragged up on sci-fi. I was dragged up by a mother who loved Star Trek, the original, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Doctor Who, you name it, the lady loved it. And I didn't. I really didn't.
Yes.
And it wasn't until, I know Star Wars can be categorized kind of sci-fi. If I go off the conversation,
I would say full sci-fi.
100% it's sci-fi.
I'm being very careful.
Space opera.
Oh. Someone didn't like that answer.
Sorry, I didn't realise that you could hear that.
No, that's totally cool. No, so
Daddy is in the other room with her.
oh, bless her. No, Star Wars has been a big thing in my life since I was a kid, but in all honesty, it's not something that I took incredibly serious. Like I was invested in it as a collector of figures, and visually I'm looking at shapes, spaces, and colors. I'm not taking into account the importance of characters until I hit a later age. So I know Star Wars was there, but it really wasn't until I started to adventure out of my horror list that I have and look at other things and appreciate the likes of Ellen Ripley and even Sarah Connor for that matters. So yeah, I was dragged up on it. I resented her for it. But now I love her for it. Like, I love the fact that I wish I wasn't one of these kids who was like, nah, it's so stupid, because I could have really had like an amazing sci-fi education from such a young age, and I dropped the ball. My fault. That's mine.
I'm hoping that I could have at least some kind of effect like that on my kids.
I'm trying.
He does notice when I watch Star Trek. How about you, Becca? What's your early memories?
Okay, you're going to laugh at this, but I actually had to text my dad yesterday to check this wasn't a false memory, because I was 100% convinced that this didn't happen. But then I was like, maybe it did. So mine is World at War, because my dad used to have the LP. So it's the Jeff Wayne edition, the music, and it goes dun 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 dun.
Yes, Anthony.
My dad is a big fan.
And
yes.
Dad is. And
yeah. So this is why I had to text my dad. And my dad was like, no, 100%. I used to listen to it when I was a kid. And I was like, that 100% explains, one, my love of musicals, and two, my love of sci-fi. But yes, so that is one of my earliest memories, other than Star Trek on a nighttime at 6:45 on BBC Two. Yeah, I have quite a lot of early memories of sci-fi. It was a very big thing in my house. We had Doctor Who, we had Star Trek, we had Earth Final Conflict. I don't know if any of you guys
heard of it.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, the voice. I was like, oh.
Yes.
Yes. So those type of programs, because obviously we had Sky when I was a kid, so it was it was a bit posh.
Okay.
A bit posh.
You.
A bit posh. We did have Telly West for a while. That's what it was called back then. So we did. I was very lucky that we had like access to a lot of sci-fi. So, but yes,
nice.
Jeff Wayne and his musical are very deeply embedded to the point that I thought it was a false memory. But Sarah,
that is so cool.
on that point, randomly, I quite often, if I'm like working at home, Andrew puts a playlist on. He just puts it on random for the background while he's taking care of the children, and the chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, they say. It plays quite a lot. I don't know the actual name of the song, but that's obviously the line from it.
I find
but still they come.
I just find it really interesting. Even the books I can remember sort of reading a little bit when I was a kid, and just the fact that it kind of how it kind of starts, and sort of the quotes and stuff from the War of the Worlds. It's incredible just how it starts. And I tried to find the quote earlier, but I've lost it on my screen. I'll find it in a minute. But yeah,
isn't that the one that Orson Welles did a recording of, and people thought it was genuine that they started shitting bricks?
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, my mum never played it as a kid.
There's many programs that actually take the mig out of that. I think it's something. It's called something. I think the one that I watched recently around that whole incident is called the Day America Lost Its Mind. Which I find, sorry for anyone who's an American.
Who said that?
I love you guys. But yeah,
I shouldn't say that. Monsters has a big listening in America.
But yes, so yeah, that's my earliest memories. What about yourself, Sarah?
Mine is actually along the lines of like the Jerry Anderson stuff, the Thunderbirds, your Captain Scarlet, your Joe 90. They were on a rerun on BBC Two, I think it was, when I was about 9. And I remember we used to sit down with tea watching them. Now, I've got a brother who's about 6 years younger than me, and he absolutely adored Thunderbird. So we used to watch it a lot. Um, I mean, does anyone remember the magazine Look In?
No.
No,
No.
it was like a magazine that I used to get as kind of like it covered pop music, a bit of indie music.
I'm
It was
Googling.
kind of like my precursor to me getting Melody Maker. But like
Oh God, yeah.
quite a while ago now, there was a competition in that magazine, and I won the die-cast metal set of the 5 Thunderbirds ships.
Nice.
And so
Whoa.
my brother ended up with that when I won them. And I mean, he was like 3 or 4 at the time, so he used to play with them a lot. And one of my mum's friends through work made him the blue Peter Tracy Island with the butter tubs and the yogurt pots. And they fit perfectly.
Oh
This
my
die-cast metal
goodness.
thing fit perfectly into that. We had pipe cleaner palm trees and used to push them down to open the flap where Thunderbird
My
2
God.
came out.
This is
And you
this
could
is
push
the
them back
this
up.
is a trip down memory lane.
Uh-huh,
Whoa.
um,
Oh, sorry, Sarah. Go on.
go
Abby
on,
needs
go
a
on,
moment. Okay.
I'm sorry. I just can't get away with Captain Scarlet or the Thunderbirds. I used to absolutely hate it. Like, I was like, get it off me telly. But my dad's an artist. Not by his trade. His trade's a baker, but he's an amazing artist, and he so appreciates programs that can be so creative in
Mhm.
being different. And he always used to find them being different. Morph was another one, and
Mm,
Trapdoor. He was
Yep.
obsessed with them
I
because it was
love
the art.
Trapdoor.
Well, it was the artistry behind it
Mhm.
that really fascinated him. So he was the same with Thunderbirds, and I used to throw a fit to get them off the telly. However, I went to a toy fair not so long ago, actually. It was a couple of months ago, and it was a mixture of old, new, modern kind of toys. And the toys that I saw of Captain Scarlet and Thunderbirds, like, really like hit a memory for us, and I didn't feel like a bad memory. I was like, oh, that's so amazing that it's actually managed to stand the test of time, because these toys are old and
Oh
someone's
yeah.
really taken care of them, regardless of what you may think of them. Like, there was a lot of trains,
Yeah.
Mhm.
a lot of trains and a lot of cars, but these were very vintage toys that had been incredibly looked after. But yeah, sorry, Sarah. I feel like I'm just shitting all over this episode. I'm so sorry. I promise I'll bring a positive spin soon.
Thunderbirds aren't my choice for this, remember. This is just an early memory.
Oh no, I appreciate that, and I just feel like I'm shitting all over your memories right now.
I out of all of them though, I didn't like Joe 90 or anything like that, and um Stingray was boring to me.
The song's class though.
Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet were the main two that I actually watched. But yes, I was also a part of the big rush when Thunderbirds was having a refresh.
Yeah.
I must have been about 16, 17 because I was working in Littlewoods call centre
Oh Christ.
down the East End.
You probably know the
Wow.
majority of people that I work with.
Yep. I was working there, and it was the year just before Christmas where you could not get a Tracy Island for love nor money. We used to have people ringing up every single morning, have you got Tracy Island in?
Really?
Um, but yeah, Thunderbirds. It's been weird because it's kind of like for being a show from that was created like a good 20 years before I was even born.
Hmm.
It's hit several points in my life. From like obviously watching it when I was little, being involved in one of my first jobs,
Hmm.
as a big part. It was a huge part of the first job. And then of course you had the movie as well, like the
I love that.
reboot of
I
it.
love that movie. I
Yeah.
will die on that hill to say that was a good movie and it deserved more love. I will stand on that hill.
And as much as I didn't love Pink, I loved Lady Penelope. I
Love
just
it.
thought, you know what, she was so calm under pressure, she could kick ass at the same time. But, you know, still, what a car.
Yeah.
even although it was pink.
Oh no, I used to love Penelope Pitstop and part of the Wacky Races, so I totally get it. Sorry, it was a bit of I was just showing my age.
Hey, I'm the same age as you, Sammy.
I know, I keep forgetting. I always think you're younger than us. We're the same age.
But yes, that's my early memory. There's a couple of other things, but that's the main one I would say I think of when we talk about sci-fi.
I love it.
Shall we start with our picks then? Do you want to kick us off?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Hey, let me pull my list up. Okay, I'll go with I'm gonna do it. I said I wasn't going to, but I'm gonna do it. I am. It's a very almost a like typical pick that you may get from someone who likes horror. I'm gonna go with Ellen Ripley.
Excellent choice.
The Alien franchise is something that's been with us a few, not many. 2012, I want to dare say, is when I went actually out of my way to Asda to buy the box set because I was so intrigued by them, and it's not for any other reason, again, because sci-fi wasn't my thing, and I was like, I really wanted to be. It's like the whole Trek thing. Like, I want to be a part of the whole Trek thing, but I just can't bring myself to watch it all. There's a lot.
Yeah. I get you.
There's a lot. So I went out and bought the whole box set, watched it all. So it's from about 2012 is when Alien came into my life, and over the last few years, it's something that's kind of grown further into my life. So my third episode of Monsters was on the Xenomorphs. And then I did an interview with Ian White, who was the Predator. So it made me go back and watch Alien versus Predator, and then but I had to watch all the other ones for Monsters. And Ellen I am saying Ellen, it is Ellen, right? I'm not butchering this and making myself sound like an idiot.
No.
She is the, for me, the epitome of strong female representation. She gets put up against corporations. She gets put up against men who doubt her. She gets put up against an alien queen, for fuck's sake, and she still manages to come out on top.
There's like a famous picture of Ellen with her cat, and it's like, this is the story of a woman who wasn't listened to by any man, and yet only her and her cat survived.
Yeah. What does that say about her?
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that Sigourney Weaver is just goddamn.
Oh, she's
beautiful.
Epic.
She is beautiful. Her body in Alien is just unreal. Like, you can see that woman has worked for that.
Yes.
But she brings a lot of empowerment that I was lacking as a little tomboy who wouldn't have even batted an eyelid when it came down to the likes of Ellen Ripley or any other female within pop culture. And it always makes me think, if I had more female representation like that in my life at a young age, maybe I would have, not that I would have turned out differently, and I know I've probably said this before, but just my thought pattern might have been a bit different. I could have taken strength not just from men who, have agendas, but a woman who is fighting for her agenda. Does that make sense, or am I just talking absolute bullshit because I'm tired?
That made sense.
Oh, good. So yeah, Ellen Ripley is a strong one for me, and someone who's been around in my podcasting parts for the last year. I can't seem to get rid of the Alien franchise, but for my wedding anniversary, which has already happened at this point, I'm watching Alien Romulus.
Okay. Good.
But yeah, the Alien franchise, even the Predator franchise as well, and that kind of like goes heavy into sci-fi for me more than anything else that I've watched recently, because it is. But yeah, I feel like I'm waffling now, so I'll pass the baton to someone else.
Was it Alien or Aliens where she did the basketball?
Aliens?
I don't know. It's been a very long time.
Is that Rodriguez who does it, not Ellen?
No, there's Oh
Or
God,
was it
I'm doubting myself now. There's a scene where like she throws a basketball over her shoulder. She's got her back to it, and it goes through the hoop. And it's oh
We'll
God,
find out.
I'm doubting myself now.
We'll
It's been a
find
very
out.
long time since I've watched any
Yeah,
of them.
Hang on, it comes up.
she did
Yeah,
it in
it's
she did it in one take as well.
it's two because it's
Two.
got Ron Perlman's there
Yeah.
standing with her. Oh, is it Resurrection? Was he in Resurrection? Yeah, it's the third one.
Mm.
So yeah,
But
it's in Resurrection.
I just didn't think you could like mention Ellen Ripley without the epicness of that shot and the fact
She's
that it was one shot
yeah, because
and that was it.
she's got Ron Perlman like standing directly in her
Mhm.
face, and she's just spinning this basketball in her hand, and then just hikes it behind her.
Mhm.
I actually enjoyed Resurrection more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
I didn't have any high hopes for it because when we were doing the Xenomorph episode, I was just more interested in the actual aliens themselves and
Yeah.
the production behind it as well, because that is probably one of the most fascinating productions, like having the alien queen as a puppet
Mhm.
with 17 puppeteers
Mhm.
to the side, like in her scale as well. She was as tall as what you see on screen. It's just, yeah, I am waffling. Let's move on.
Becca, do you want to do your first choice?
Yes. See, everyone expects me to pick Star Trek, but I'm going to go with another sci-fi fandom, which is Doctor Who. And I know that Sammie doesn't like this fandom.
That's a lie.
Do you not? See, I thought
So
you didn't like it.
I am a huge fan, massive, of Matt Smith and his
Okay.
Doctor.
Yes.
I've watched Doctor Who all my life.
Okay.
And when Christopher Eccleston came on, Christopher
Yeah,
Eccleston
Christopher
came
Yeah.
back. Yeah, he came on. I
He was
love
the
Christopher
first one,
Eccleston. Yeah, I
Mhm.
loved him in Shallow Grave. Thought he was great. Anyways, then Tennant comes on and it's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, he's changed the game. And then Matt Smith came on, and I was like, oh, this is where I'm going to drop off. And it wasn't. This is where I fell in love with Doctor
Mhm.
Who.
Okay.
Oh, I love Matt.
See, I thought you hated it. Paul had always given me the impression that you hated it.
We will never cover it on Nerdy Up North for so many reasons.
Okay.
But I'm not a huge fan of the older ones that I can appreciate and have a lot of love for because of, growing up with them.
Yeah.
But Peter Capaldi, so this is where me and my mum used to have arguments because my doctor is Matt Smith, her doctor's Peter Capaldi.
Okay.
So we used to have little
Yes.
tit-our-titters and I dropped off with Peter Capaldi. I even bought her a
Aw.
little Funko keyring of Capaldi, and I had the
Oh.
Matt Smith one, and yeah, we were them people. And it was the one time in pop culture I like kind of, me and my mom had something that was ours. Yeah. So sorry to take over your, but
it's
yeah.
interesting because I wrongly was under the impression that you didn't like Doctor Who. But yes,
No, Matt Smith's my doctor,
Well,
man.
if we're throwing hats in the ring, mine's Tennant.
Okay, so that's fine. Mine is actually Matt Smith as well because I think his portrayal of the Doctor was everything that we'd had in Eccleston, everything that we'd had in John Hurt, everything that we'd had in Tennant. It was all combined into this one character, and he was thousands of years old in the series that he's obviously in, but then he acts like a child.
Yeah.
And I just absolutely love the portrayal. See, I can remember actually watching Doctor Who, the older Doctor Who's, on BBC Two when they used to show it. I can remember seeing the Zygons, which are the big red soccer ones.
Mhm.
I remember being terrified of them. And then I kind of got into it when it was Paul McGann, which is the movie.
Yeah.
That's my mum. That before Capaldi, that was my mum's favorite Doctor Who.
I very much got into Doctor Who with the movie, and I was obsessed, absolutely obsessed. I used to watch this film every opportunity. I was probably far too young. I still watched it, and then obviously in 2005 when it returned, I can remember being there on a Saturday night watching every single episode and just thinking, "Oh my god, this is back. This is epic." And it's one of those fandoms. Obviously, with me doing the other podcast, I get to review, and I kind of like get to watch the older episodes that I probably wouldn't watch without that.
Mhm.
But yes, so Doctor Who is just one of my obsessions that I cannot get rid of, to the point that I've got a D&D tower that is a TARDIS. So like
The dice tower.
yeah, I've got a dice tower.
Cool.
I've got sonic screwdrivers probably around the house still. I've got loads of random Doctor Who crap to add with all the other crap. But yeah, it's just one of those fandoms that is just so British that I love. And we in Britain don't always do good sci-fis. We used to, obviously we used to have Captain Scarlet, we had all those ones, but I find that very much recently other countries have kind of overtaken us in the sci-fi, and I just think
I totally get what you're saying in that, and the fact that it's I think we should be proud because it's British,
yeah,
and it's universally loved around the world.
Yes.
This is not just a program for us. It's
No.
you know, Americans
Yeah.
absolutely adore it.
Yeah.
But yeah, to think, I understand why you think I didn't like Doctor Who, and to a degree, I kind of don't. There's certain parts of the fandom that I'm not a huge fan of.
100%. Oh
Yeah, I totally, yeah. But to be honest, with Tennant, I thought I was in it. I thought that was, there we go. I found my doctor. My mom has
Yeah.
hers, and I
Yeah.
found mine. And then the minute he came on screen, and the minute that TARDIS drops in Amy Pond's back garden, I am like,
Yes.
oh, there he is.
Yeah.
That's who I've been looking for as my doctor, is someone who can take the serious and turn it into fun.
Yes.
He was fun. Some of the most heartbreaking episodes happened within Smith's reign, where Amy looks at the angels. That broke my heart, especially when all she wanted. Oh no, that clip came up on TikTok the other day, and I was like, no, I can't do it again.
To be fair, the whole story arc with Amy Pond, Rory, and the Doctor breaks my heart.
Oh,
It's
and
one of the
River
most.
Song.
It's the most well thought out story of Doctor Who, in my opinion.
Because you always think when it comes and I think this is how we've been conditioned when it comes down to romantic leads, is that it's the Doctor and Amy has the romantic, but it's not. It's Amy and Rory.
Yes.
And when she decides when she goes for Rory, because that's who she has to be with, there was never anything romantic between them two.
No.
Didn't she call him Raggedy Man?
Yeah.
The Raggedy Man. But the River Song, Revelation, I lost my shit. Didn't see it coming. Like, I'm so naive.
Did not. To be fair, River Song is one of my favorite characters that's ever been created, because she's so complicated. You never kind of see her in the same order as the Doctor, obviously, because they're completely out of sync. So like her first kiss is the Doctor's last kiss. Their first meeting it's completely out of time.
And every time she sees him, it's always a different version of him, to where she's like, oh, that's you now. Okay. Yeah, I loved River Song. But yeah, again, I'm totally stupid and just didn't see it coming, and I'm like having to have it spelled out on the screen for us that
I didn't see it coming either. I literally did not see River Song coming. And then when obviously the actress says, oh, there's no what did she say? There's no pond in the forest. There's no pond in the forest. And then you were like,
what?
Melody Pond. River Song. Yeah.
It's just, yeah, it was just, and it's Amy's responses, and Karen is just, oh my god, I absolutely love her. I could go down a whole rabbit hole with Karen's characters in Sci-Fi as well.
I think we should probably just do an episode on her, to be fair, because I think
to be honestly, I could do a whole episode on Nebula and her arc from start to finish. But I'll save that for another time.
That's another time. Sarah, what is yours?
We've got a list of people that we could just do singular person episodes.
Yes.
I love that pick though. You've totally, I'm gonna have to turn one of my picks into honorary mention, because you've now made me change my mind on one because of that pick. And it has nothing to do with Doctor Who. It's just made me think a bit differently. Go on, sorry, Sarah.
Oh, right. My first pick is, if you'd asked me this question this time last year, I wouldn't have even had on my radar.
Okay.
I would never have considered choosing this person at all. And a big hint is that I would like to thank Captain Goodwill and Science Officer Synoiz for making me want to find out more about the passion they show on Trekking Up North every week. At first, I was watching Trekking Up North to support them, but I genuinely got into what they were saying. They were showing how, like, they showed genuine love for this show, and I thought, you know, after so long of watching it, I thought, right, I'm gonna have to pull my finger out and start watching this and find out, you know, what's
I
making them
remember
tick.
that movement. I remember it was like a movement, like Sarah, like I don't know, it's like something clicked and you were like, right, this is what
Right.
this is what I'm doing.
90% of it is on Netflix. I have some free time. I am going to watch it.
You did.
And I got down to this day. The only thing I haven't watched is I haven't caught up on every single movie yet.
That's okay.
But I'm most of the way through. And I haven't watched any of Discovery because it's behind the locked window at Paramount.
I have Paramount now.
There's a few things I'm
Yeah.
actually tempted to get on Paramount now. So
We got it for South Park.
Love it.
well,
Sorry.
Paramount's where like the new Lower Decks and the new Strange New World.
There's so much on there. All the
are.
movies are on there. I know
Decks,
this. I looked.
I know. But yes, anyway, now that's a big hint as to the franchise I'm going to, as if you haven't already guessed.
So funny if she said Star Wars.
But I think the character I'm going with will be a lot of people's kind of in the top 5 choices of characters. If they ask what the favorite Star Trek characters are, rather, I am choosing the Simple Tailor from DS9.
Oh yes.
I am choosing Garrick, expertly played by Andrew Robinson.
Love it.
You know, it's kind of one of those characters that at first you think, oh my god, this character's going to be like the comic relief, but there's like so much more to him than you think.
What's his name?
Garrick, Garak.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a Cardassian spy turned tailor. He plays all sides, so you're never quite sure where his loyalties lie. Overall, though, he plays his side. I loved his relationship with Dr. Bashir, even though I wasn't a big Dr. Bashir fan. Andrew played him deliberately attracted to Bashir, but like it wasn't something at the time that the Star Trek writers were particularly keen on. No, but they could have done so much more with that storyline. They had so many more like plots and character developments they could have explored.
Have you seen when the actors are on Instagram or TikTok and they actually read out? Yeah.
I'm coming to that.
I feel like it's a talking in secret code now.
For listeners, me
Should I
and
leave the
Becca
room?
have just had a hand gestures.
Oh yeah, remember what audio as well.
Audio
ladies.
listeners, yeah. Audio listeners, me and Becca just had a hand gesture off. Excuse me. But anyway, still, they remained fast friends in the show, considering the writing stuff. Even with the tensions around Cardassia and Bajor and the Federation, and that's even before the Dominion came into it. You know, they eat lunch together every day. They talk about everything, and you know, Garrick even tells Bashir things he's never told anyone else. They reminded me of an old married couple. You know, they bickered and quite a lot actually, and disagreed on many things, but ultimately they still respected and loved each other. I even found a YouTube video where Alexander Siddig, who plays Bashir, and Andrew Robinson read a fanfic where Bashir and Garrick actually express their love for each other. They call each other husband in it, and it takes place 20 years after the what happens in DS9. So they've been together a while at this point, and you know they even got things in it like obviously Andrew doesn't have the Cardassian makeup on, he doesn't have the ridges or anything, and he just passes it off as, oh, I'm using one of these new AI filters to make me look human. But no, it's generally it is the two actors that actually are reading out this this fanfic. It's called the one I saw in particular was called Little Achievements, and it was written by Elmi K.E. Now I don't know if I've said that right because it's K-E, so I don't know if it's Key or K.E. Garrick also has this like quiet deadliness about him. You don't know. He's mysterious, but in such a cheeky way. You don't know if he's going to kiss you or kill you.
I am looking at his face right now. I know the minute I saw his face, I knew exactly who he is. And the one you said, can you say it first?
Cardassian.
Ant watches DS9. He's obsessed. Like he loves it. Ant's a Trekkie, believe it or not. And he loves it. And I've walked in many a times where I hear the word that, and I just think, what? I was like, Kardashian?
Kim.
And I get wrong very quickly.
There
for
are
saying
so
that.
many memes around that issue.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got wrong very quickly. And I'm looking at his face right now, and there's somewhere he's smiling. And I recognize that his makeup job is amazing. Is somewhere he's smiling, but then somewhere he's just stern.
You know what I really loved about the makeup? That you can tell it's Andrew Robinson in makeup and out of makeup. You can still tell that he's the one who played Garrick.
I can see him. I'm
You can see it
intrigued
in
on
his
who
eyes.
did his makeup actually, because that is such a brilliant job.
But yes, I like the fact that he also showed he had vulnerabilities as well, like such as claustrophobia, which became a real problem.
That's interesting for someone who's in space.
Yeah, it became a real problem when they were in I believe it was a Cardassian prison. It's a little while since I've seen this episode, but he has to climb inside a small space in between the walls to like fiddle with electronics to like get a radio signal out, and they have to kind of like cover for him, but kind of keep him hidden in the thing. And when they close the wall up, it's dark and it's small, and he starts panicking. So it's just kind of like interesting to have that for somebody who's meant to be like a cold-hearted assassin and spy, basically, for somebody to have such a vulnerability. But yes, he's Garrick is a favorite Star Trek character of mine. Whoever would have thought me saying that over a year ago?
Oh, that's so cool, though.
I've got one of my favorite quotes in them as well, which I think kind of like partially sums up the character. So he's having a conversation with Dr. Bashir as normal, and Bashir says, "Of all the stories you told me, which ones were true and which ones weren't?" And Garrick says, "My dear doctor, they're all true." Bashir says, "Even the lies?" And Garrick replies, "Especially the lies."
Oh, yeah.
That is the meme that's basically the only Trek meme that you ever need.
Yes.
Because it is spawned off a million editions for that.
No.
But what I'll do is that little achievements episode that I mentioned there, I will put a link for the YouTube video for it.
Oh, that'd be cool.
We'll put that in the links below.
Yeah,
I think it's an interesting one.
Ant's a fan of DS9. I realized I've not watched a single episode of Trekking Up North. So when I know that's a lie because I watched the movie, the one with all the really slow ships.
Yeah.
And oh my God, that was trying times. But then I watched the last one, First Contact, that they did, and I joined the episode because I'd watched it. Oh my God, that movie, and I felt I didn't need to know anything, like it didn't matter, and it also had my favorite line in as well. What was it? The line should be drawn here, no further. And it's off Big Bang as well. Sheldon says it. So the minute I heard Jean-Luc say it, like I lost my shit. I was like, no further, because me and Ant always say it to each other. And I'm gonna watch Insurrection when that eventually comes around. But my favorite Star Trek film is the one with Tom Hardy, and believe it or not, even though I have very strong opinions on him.
That's okay. That's completely allowed.
You may see a non-Trekkie on the Trekking podcast for that one.
Hey.
That's one of the ones I haven't seen. And yes, so yes, after watching Trekking Up North, I do consider myself a Trekkie now.
And so you should.
Yes.
You took a challenge,
Mm.
a major challenge, one I couldn't complete. I watched the first episode of Enterprise and went, never again.
The first episode of Enterprise is very, very hard, but
Mhm.
if you carried on, you'd probably enjoy it. It's a very different style of Trek. It's not
Yeah,
one that
it was
you
long.
you've.
It was
It's a long road.
Really,
Long
it was a
road.
long
Get your
friggin'
lighters
episode.
out. Lighters out.
It's a long road getting from there to here.
Oh my God, I know what that means.
But yes, the Nerdy Up North quizzes, we did the best on the Star Trek one.
We did the worst, and I came with a team. I came to the Trek one with a team of people who knew what they were talking about, and I didn't know any answer to any question whatsoever. So, nah, very, very bad at it. But I even lost the horror one as well. So, don't know. Still got a cup.
I was
Anyways.
so proud of how we did in the horror one, even though like half the team didn't like horror.
It's such a niche kind of topic, isn't it? Yeah, I don't like you'll know some things and you won't know others, and yeah, it's a hard one.
I was there very confused for a lot of it. I wasn't there for the
But
quiz,
you
to be
love
fair.
horror. You like horror.
I love a very specific part of horror, which is zombie films. Ghost films.
Yes.
Ghost films terrify me to the point. I think Paul was asking recently about what films terrify you, or that you've watched once and you can never watch again.
Mhm.
The Unborn is the most horrifying film I've ever watched, and I will never watch it again. If I could find the DVD, Sammy, you can have that DVD, because never again.
Intriguing. Sorry, one of my bags is just in the middle of my floor for no reason. Intriguing.
Cat.
Yeah. Yeah, little shit bags. Anyways, where were we?
But yes, do you have
Yes, your second choice, Sammy.
Well, I'm changing mine up now after yours too. And do you know what? This is something that should have been so bloody obvious to us. And the minute I say it, if Paul's watching this, he'll be like, I don't understand why you didn't say that in the first place. It's one of my favorite TV shows. It's the only thing I would have considered as a grown up to be the only love of sci-fi I had. It's The Boys from the Dwarf, man. It's Red Dwarf. It's one of my I love that TV show so much. Like it's ridiculous the love that I have for it. However, I can only get up to a certain point.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I've heard a lot of people say the same thing, and I am exactly with you.
To me, Red Dwarf ended the day Kachansky came back.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's not Kachansky, that's not Claire Grogan, that is not who I grew up with.
Nope.
I don't like her. She's a very unlikable character. The whole show changes its tone. And I know my dad said they brought it back on the newest ones that they've done, and I still haven't gotten around to watch them, because you know, the minute someone mentions it, I go, oh, I'll just go and watch the first episode again, which I'll probably do when we finish here.
I'll probably join you, because I haven't watched it.
We're already watching it.
Oh, it's on BBC iPlayer. It's always there. It never leaves.
Yeah.
It's just it's something. I know I had a relationship with my mother that I kind of fought away, especially, what was it? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. When that's the story she used to read us. That and The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So like, I was trying to push, but when I came into my teenage years and Red Dwarf came on, I was like, okay, this is mine, and you can go away.
Yeah,
go away. I watch this at least once, twice a year. It's comfort. These characters are comfort to me.
What's your favorite episode?
Oh, okay. Where Rimmer gets his duplicate. I love that when Rimmer, when he gets he's stolen the what I think is Kachansky's hollow chip, and he creates himself, and it ends up going tits up on him, because the person he wants to be is actually a horrible person. So yeah, I love that episode. I love when Dave outranks him. Yes, Mr. Lister, sir. But my favorite of all time has to be the virus, where they go into the Western.
Yes.
That is some of the greatest writing, funniest scenes. The Riviera Kid. I love it. I just absolutely love it. And I got the pleasure of sitting next to Mr. Danny John Jules and Chris Barry at a convention last year. Yeah, because I've not done any this year. Last year, mad as a box of frogs. Chris Barry is very much how you would expect him.
Yeah.
Yeah, very proper, very polite. Danny John Jules, actually witnessed him get a lady in a wheelchair and run around the convention centre with her.
I got retweeted by Danny John Jules once, and he replied
so
to
cool.
me on X, whatever it is.
The Bird app.
Yeah. I saw somebody. I was driving past the Angel of the North one time, and somebody driving a Starbug had broken down next to it. So I took a picture and sent it to Danny John Jules, and he replied saying, "Oh, yes, we've just drove past there," and sent me a picture of him on his motorbike outside, like next to the Angel of the North.
That is brilliant.
We're on our way to a convention.
He was always late to them. Always late. The conventions I worked at, he was there. He was always late. Even Northeast Comic Con, the one I wasn't even working, that I just attended, he was late for that too. And there's a great picture of Lee getting his photograph taken with him, and you can see me and Paul in the background.
Yeah.
I love it. It's one of my favorite pictures, and I didn't have to pay for it.
Nice.
But yeah, Red Dwarf, it's kind of hard to put into words like how it, like, any symbolisms and stuff like that behind it, because in actual fact it's just sheer love affair that I have with it. It is nothing deeper than I find it funny. The potato people episode, and when Rimmer gets the disease and Ian's, oh Jesus. Nerdy Up North did a Red Dwarf episode with Graham. I want to say that it might have been the beginning of this year, I can't remember now.
Yeah.
But I urge anyone to go and watch it, because it is literally 3 people saying just one word and then laughing for about 20 minutes before the next word's brought up, and we're doing the same thing again.
I love the laugh I've just done there.
Yeah,
I'll put the link below.
It's one of my favorite episodes that we did, because you're trying to talk about something, but then someone will remember something for an episode, and then you just cannot stop laughing. And it's the head of the potato people. And you say that I'm mad. Red Dwarf. When you mentioned Doctor Who, I was like, oh shit,
you're gonna have to.
Me. She's got me now.
I would have been disappointed if you hadn't mentioned it, to be fair.
I would have. Do you know what I would have been disappointed in myself? I think my dad would have been disappointed with us, like saying I raised you better than that. Because he's like, I get my love of British comedy from I love British comedy. I love British films. Anything that does, I think we do television and films just as well as anybody else within the industry. Yeah. And I have such a love affair with it because of my dad. I was brought up on Alvida's Pet, The Young Ones, Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah,
The Young Ones is just the best.
We've not long had a rewatch of that as well. It's
been a while for me, but I would definitely consider it, because it's warm, fuzzy memories for us, and that's the comedy that my dad brought us up on.
Yeah.
So, and like I say, anything to do with British filmmaking and television, I love. Like, one of my favorite films of all time, and and I never mention it on lists where we do, because it's nothing to do with pop culture. It's actually me as a teenager. Is Brassed Off.
It's a very good movie, though.
Not seen that in a very long time.
So here's a little bit about me. I'm a trombone player.
So am I.
I'm a grade 8 in theory trombone player. I took it, Sarah, when I get obsessed with something, I take it to the 9th degree, and I got graded for it, and I have been around the world. I've been around Europe and shit like that.
Okay, well, but still,
that was a bit of an exaggeration.
Yeah.
I come, like, my mom's uncle, he was a trombone player in Henton Silver, so it was like a big deal for my mom that I did the same thing. The brass band in Brassed Off, I did a workshop with them and played with them on the following night after the workshop. I wanted to join the RAF because I played in the RAF band once after
Oh,
doing a
bless
workshop with
you.
them, until I realised what that in order to be in the RAF, I couldn't just join because of the band. I would have to like do something else. And I was like, I have nothing else of value here. Like, let's just take that off the table. But yeah, I performed with that band, and it is one of my all-time favorite films. I got the opportunity to sit and oh, what's her name?
Tara
Oh, she's
Fitzgerald?
no, the other one,
Oh,
the Sean Bean's first wife.
oh, crikey, I don't remember her name.
Oh, what's Sean Bean's first wife called? Oh, that's annoying. Help me out. She's in. I'm gonna say she's in either Emmerdale or Horror at the moment. What's her name? What's her name? What's her name? Melanie Hill.
Deborah James?
No, Melanie Hill. Sean Bean's first wife, Melanie Hill.
Oh,
I yeah, I sat with her in a sports complex center in my home area, because she was at this little mini convention that was there, and we sat and talked for hours, and I regret to this day not saying to her, you have one of my favorite lines in cinema history, and it's from Rostov. And I hate myself that I never said that to her, because we were just talking on such a normal level. Like, I didn't feel it necessary to say it, but she does. Yeah. Wow, that was a tangent and a half from Red Dwarf to Rostov. Anyways, sorry, that's what I do, by the way. If anyone doesn't listen to anything else that I do, I like a tangent now and again.
we're all for tangents. But yeah, I did play trombone for 3 years while I was at school, but I was nowhere near, like, anywhere near as great as you.
Yeah, 7 years. I think somebody has my original. I played treble bass trombone, and I think somebody in like my mum's one of my mum's friends' daughters has my original, which I'm gutted about. I don't own it anymore. But yeah, I've played everywhere. I did competitions and all sorts. Got some cracking photographs of us kicking about somewhere in my uniform.
The best offer I got was when I was at uni. My friend told me if I ever picked up a trombone again, I could join his ska band.
That's what people intended me, because I went on to college to do music and drama, and I think that's what people intended for us to do when I was at college, was to be in a ska band. I play piano, I play bass guitar, and then music kind of just fell away from us, and I ended up actually college fell away from us because I ended up working at 18. So yeah, I never got into that band, in that ska band. And to be honest, I can't read music anymore. I'm 41 years old. Like, this was when I was 16. I can't read it anymore, and I wouldn't even know what positions me slide should be in anymore. It's all gone.
Sorry,
Years.
1 sec.
I bet you if you tried it, it would be like riding a bike. It would all come back.
I know what to do, like, as in how to but that's about it.
There we go.
Oh,
Bless you.
yeah. Okay, so we've learned a few things about me today.
This I'm not being funny. This is a really interesting episode for learning things about Sammie. I think that might be the episode title. Yeah.
I shouldn't be allowed to talk sometimes. Like, how I have 2 other podcasts is absolutely friggin' beyond me. I always reveal something really weird about myself. If it's not me sleeping with a bar of soap at my feet, it's me playing the trombone as a kid.
Well, mine's Sammie. I don't think I've told anybody else that I played trombone as a kid.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. We've both...
There we go. Okay, I'll just add. I used to play violin.
Did you play trombone, Becca?
I used to play violin. I played violin for a year.
Oh, my sister tried when it really wasn't that long ago. It was only a few years ago. She was like, I want to learn a new skill, so I now husband bought her a violin. What, that was a bad mistake. Oh, no. That thing is horrible.
No, I could play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. That's as far as I got, and it was badly.
Oh, never mind.
My poor parents. Just think of them.
Oh gosh. Okay, Red Dwarf was mine.
Okay, so my choice.
You, Becca.
My choice. Okay, my choice is a little bit of a different one, because it's not just a sci-fi choice; it's a sci-fi fantasy choice.
Ooh,
and
crossovers.
Yes, it is a bit of a crossover, but this kind of fandom, for anyone who knows me, is probably the fandom to create me. It was what created me as someone who wants to write in different universes. And it's actually part of a role-playing group that I've had since 2006. So, 18 years I've had this
Very
group,
long.
and it's Dragon Riders of Pern. I am obsessed with Dragon Riders of Pern. I can remember reading the books from a really, really young age because my dad used to get them from the library. And then I used to borrow them when he wasn't looking, and I used to read them. And yeah, it's just a series that stuck with me for a very, very, very long time. So Dragon Riders of Pern, for anyone who isn't aware of it, and they're probably not because these books have been out since the 70s, it's basically about dragons and their riders on a planet which is in the future, that's been colonized from Earth, but they don't remember that they've been colonized from Earth. They've been on the planet for 2,000 years, and the dragons were created from these little fire lizards that were on native to the planet. They were genetically modified to be bigger, and there's golds, bronze, browns, greens, and blues, and they've all got different roles in this community called Whales, and they basically fight these spores that come from the sky every 200 years called Fred. Yes, because they look like Fred.
Right. They look like
Right.
Fred.
Yes, as in like
The
string.
epitome of what a Fred would look like.
Yeah, just I could describe
I
it.
didn't think you were going to say Fred. Okay. I mean,
I've just got Fred dust falling from the sky in my head now.
fucking red hats everywhere.
Yeah,
If that is what makes you guys happy, but yes, so it's so this is the fandom that's kind of created me, but there's one specific character that I just love, and her name is called Lessa, and she's basically the first character that we're kind of introduced to. She's hiding out in her former home after her family have been, offed by someone who's basically wanting to take over the planet. And the Dragon Riders are searching for a new candidate for the newest queen egg. So the golden dragon is the queen, and they are searching for this character. And I just, as a child, I can remember a child as a 13, 14, 15-year-old, I can just remember this character just being absolutely amazing, and me just thinking that I've never seen a character like this before. And so she's called Lessa of Rutherhold, which is this, but she's very petite, very fierce, and she's got very striking black hair, and they always describe it, Anne McCaffrey describes her as having intense eyes, but she's just intelligent. And what none of the Dragon Riders realize is that she can speak to every dragon. So she's not just able to speak to her dragon, she's able to speak to all the dragons. And it's a really, really complicated story that is kind of stuck with me for 20 years, to the point that I still write in this universe. I've made my own kind of spin-off of it.
It's amazing. That's such a huge testament.
Yeah, it's 18 years. Like I pulled up the Yahoo group records recently, and we were going since, I can find it now, we were running since January, February, March, April, March. So since about August 2006.
Wow. I only know the quick math on that because me and Ant have been together 18 years next year.
It's 18 years, and it's one of those groups that have kind of gone, we've gone a bit sideways, and we've kind of left it a little bit. But then sort of a month ago, someone who I've been writing with in that whole time found me on social media and was like, I miss writing with you, do you want to write again? And I was like, yeah. Cassie reached out to me, she was like, do you want to write again? And we have wrote so much in the past 4 weeks, because I've still had the site active, it's still there, and I have just been like, I'm gonna write, and it's taken back over my life, and I forgot just how much I loved this
in like the best way possible, though.
Yes,
that is amazing.
So
would you ever consider putting them out there for people to read, or is that
you can read them?
You can read them. All right, okay. I didn't know if that's how it worked. If it was
no, it's available. It's the site's open.
That's awesome. I am going after my Stephen King journey is going to go on pause for a bit after I've finished my last book, because I am going to be starting more into It's not so much sci-fi as it's more fantasy.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna butcher this name, but it's the Court of Thorn and
Yep.
help me out,
Yep.
Becca. You know what it is?
Court of Thorns and Roses. I know.
Roses.
I do know what one you mean, and
I'm so sorry, Book
no,
Talk.
it's okay. But this is why I actually kind of have a really big love-hate relationship with Book Talk, because Anne McCaffrey's series of Dragon Riders of Pern has 23 novels. 23 novels, okay? And Fourth Wing has what? 2, 3?
Oh, it was you I was talking to
Yes.
about Fourth Wing. Yes.
Yes. And this is why I'm just so annoyed at Book Talk, that they've kind of like huddled together this kind of fandom that's got one book, and Anne McCaffrey's Dragon Riders of Pern series that has so many books. I can't even get it in Waterstones.
No.
I literally went into Waterstones last week in Sunderland. I was like, do you have any of these books? Because I haven't got all the books. And I was like, do you have these books? They're like, oh no, they're out of print. We don't do them. I was like, excuse me.
I beg your pardon.
What? And this young lass looked at me. She was like, oh well, we've got this book, we've got that book. I'm like, no, I need these ones.
Not very good there, Waterstones, are you? So you have everything. I'm going there tomorrow. Heaven help my husband. But yeah, that's the journey I'm gonna go into. And it is Book Talk's fault. I would never have known. I've got Fourth Wing there. I would never have known to go in and read that style up. So maybe if I might go in and delve into the Becca Morgan type books.
Well, I've got lots and lots of stickers if anyone wants any Fourth Wing stickers, because I bought them.
Yeah.
So I only wanted a couple of them, and I've got about 100.
I'll take I love stickers. I didn't realize how much I love stickers until I was like, I can put them on my laptop.
I've got
Well.
I've got one that says Wing Leader, I've got one that says Dragon Rider, and I've got I Will Not Die Today. I only wanted a couple of them, and
my work one is
I've got a lot on the back.
I haven't got that far in that on the back yet,
my
but that's on
home
my to-do
one
list.
my home one doesn't have many. It has broken mic. The one that I picked up from Sunny Con.
I love that one.
Yeah, and then it's got like a little moon on there as well. But
you got a mug of that as well, didn't you?
I got the dice one, so and I got the bag as well. But this is my favorite sticker, and it's only going to be for YouTube people only, and you don't have to read it out loud. You're not going to see it because can you see it?
Yeah, I love that one. Yeah.
Yep. But
sorry, audio listeners.
Sorry, people, if you didn't want to see a dinosaur-looking penis. But my work one has Monsters on one, Trek on the other. No, Nerdy Up North on one side, Trek on the other side, Monsters on the front, and Live, Laugh, Toast a Bath on. It's my work laptop, so
well, I've got lots. I've got lots.
Oh wow!
I'll sort out a selection for
you. That
you.
is amazing. While you were talking there, my heart dropped into my throat because Loki, I don't know if you can hear him, but he's going nuts behind us, and I think it's because he can't find Binks, and I couldn't see him. And then all of a sudden, I've got into the chair here. These amber eyes just opened and looked at us, and I was like, "The shit's that?" Sorry. Oh, I love that though. I love that. That's.
My dad has a lot to answer for because he's the reason why
parents do.
No, it's not even my mum, it's my dad. It's my dad.
Well, my dad has a lot to answer for when it comes to music.
See, yeah, I get it.
There's something in there.
My music is my music is mine. I picked that, not them. But when it comes to reading these books, the likelihood is because my mum's an amazing reader. Like she can get through them so quickly that when I've read them, I'll be like, you need to read this. So I will get my mom involved with this whole genre of books I'm jumping into next. I couldn't with Stephen King.
It's going to be an interesting ride for you because it's not. I wouldn't have said it's a book that you've probably read before. Like
it's not
a type of book that you've read before.
It's completely out of my comfort zone. Even Stephen King was until like recently. I am more biographies. I read the Harry Potters. It took me a year to read the Harry Potter books.
There is a lot of them.
I know, but it still took me a year. The Hunger Games. I absolutely adore the Hunger Games.
I love the Hunger Games.
But true crime books is my thing. Books on death. And now I'm starting to branch out because of Book Talk.
Yeah.
Because of the influence it had on us. It caught, and I was like, shit, I could be part of this. Like, I have a massive collection. Like, my mum has a library. Even I put her to shame. She can't even fill her library with my house is covered in books.
Yep.
Anyways, I've done it again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 bookshelves just downstairs, and they're proper full Billy cases.
I
Full.
have to
This
get more Billy
one-
cases.
Yeah, I need some more, but bigger than this one. So I've got this one. I've got a big one in Aunt's bedroom. In the living room, I've got a stand that has a mirror on that has my Game of Thrones books, Lord of the Rings, and then behind I have a cabinet, and it's an old lady cabinet. And I've started putting in there the books I wanted to read this now. These are just collection books I've got, but these are the books I want to read. It's filled it up. There's no room to breathe in there anymore. And I can't lend books out.
I'm 100% the
No.
same. I can.
No.
So if my mum said my mum says I want to read American Gods, can I have your copy? I went to Prime and ordered it, and she had it the next day. I would rather buy you the book than you take my copy.
No, I'm 100% the same.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm not the only little weird one out there, because I will not. I don't mind lending anyone anything, but not my books.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% the same. No.
And if my sister does, my sister's got. See, I've lent Michaela The Housemaid, and that's only because I need her to freaking read it, so she's on the same level with me. I bought it for my sister-in-law the other day. It's the one book that I have ever read in a day. I couldn't put it down. Physically couldn't put it down. So I bought my sister-in-law it, I've lent my sister it, and I've done that, which I would never normally do, because she breaks spines and all sorts. I don't understand how to treat a spine. My mum does. But my mum has a beautiful collection. My mum actually has a library built into our living room.
I'm jealous.
The Barnes and Noble leather-bound books. I get her one every year for Christmas, and she's got a beautiful she's got tons of books, but anyways, books. Can we do an episode on books?
We need an
Yes,
episode
of
on
course.
books. Yeah, we need an episode on books. In fact, I think that was one of the things we did write down initially.
I'll bore you to death with all my books and that stuff as well. I have a tendency for doing that.
books and authors and stuff. Yeah, we'll get that in. There.
But Becca, I love your choice. I have been to and fro with, do I leave Stephen King behind for a bit, because we're coming into a bit more of a warm and fuzzy season, and I don't particularly want to. Believe it or not, I'm actually a little bit all Halloweened out.
Yeah, I can understand.
Yeah,
I do this week, every week, with a horror podcast, but it's been a lot for 31 days of constantly having to do Halloween stuff and spooky stuff, and I'm like, oh, I need a freaking break.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking King might go on the back burner, and I want to go more into that realm. So you bringing that up is kind of it's ignited us to go. Yeah, that's it. I've made a decision now. I've done it.
Yeah, you're doing it. You're sticking with it. Good.
I'm gonna go with.
Sarah, what's your choice?
This is the one I really struggled with, because oddly enough, I've said it a few times in the Discord, this was really hard, and I really, really struggled. And I know that you guys have said similar. Garrick immediately appeared on the list. This one, I got a short list of about 20. But, so I'm just going to pick one of them at random and go with that. And I think that my background's gonna take it today. I am choosing from the computer game Mass Effect. I'm choosing this guy here, Garrus Vakarian.
Know who he is? Sorry. I've played Mass Effect.
Yay! Garrus is always in my squad throughout all 3 games, no matter what kind of playthrough I'm doing. I've played Mass Effect through completely, several times over, many times. I'm currently trying to platinum the Legendary Edition, and no matter how I'm playing it, I always end up with Garrus in my squad. I can't leave him behind.
He's a beautifully designed creature.
He's I mean, traditionally, Turians are not the most attractive looking species, but yes, saying it like that, they are beautifully designed creatures. They are so they're reptilian and insectoid at the same time, and they're all really bony and they've got this tiny little waist, but they've got to wear this exoskeleton armor, and it makes them look like huge, broad-shouldered, and like, oh,
From what I remember, he had some sort of an elegance about him.
he does, he does. I like he's got a straight talking attitude as well, and he's like, he don't give an F. He used to work for the security, but they never did things the way he wanted to do them. He wanted to see things through to the end. He wanted to make sure the bad guys didn't do anything bad again. So he's kind of like got that rebellious streak to it all as well. And it's just I can't even fully put it
I know,
into
do you know
words,
what?
but people
No,
who
Sarah,
have
I
played
know
Mass
what you
Effect
mean.
will understand why
I-
Garrus is a great character.
But I know what you mean when you struggle to come up with the words on how you feel about something, because it's so personal to you. It's the same if someone asked me, why do you like Peter Venkman? What is it about Dr. Venkman that you love? Well, I just think he's great.
Yeah.
Because to me it's much more deep rooted for me personally. So to get the words to express it properly is, you can talk about moments that you've had with this character that can make you, you know, the reason why, but to put into words properly, I struggle. So I know exactly where that's coming from.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's such a good choice. He's like, I remember him from the video game and being a little bit sassy.
Yes, he has his sassy moments.
How long have you been playing Mass Effect?
15 years-ish.
That's a commitment. That's a long-term relationship.
Bearing in mind that the first one came out in 2007, so it's like even further back than that. It was a while ago.
That's the year me and Ant got together. So that's 17 years ago.
Sorry, I didn't even
Don't
see
worry.
that. I suddenly have a Freya at my feet.
Oh, hi, Freya, baby girl.
She was under the bouncer when I went.
She's just appeared from nowhere. She was over there. She was over there in the living room where I could see her. Andrew went to the toilet, come back, and she's at my feet, and I didn't even realise.
Oh, Freya.
Sneaky little ninja.
Yeah.
I bumped into Sarah just before I went away for my weekend in the cabin, and I couldn't get a chance to see the babies, and I was like, ah, they're both here, and then I had to run because I had my mother go, and we like snapping at us because we had to leave. Oh, bless. So yeah, so you've been playing for 15 years.
Yeah.
Like on off, or if it's been like totally committed? I mean, I know you've got children and everything, and
it's been on off. Every time I play it, I play the trilogy.
Right, okay, so start from 1 into right, okay.
Go 1, 2, 3 to the end. So I do play the trilogy every time. And I have played Andromeda as well. It's a separate one, and I don't think it deserves the hate it got, but that's another matter. But yes, yeah. No, it's just kind of like one of those things. Like in my head, there's a quite a famous quote from the game that God, I rely on quotes a lot, but I kind of just I need them to back my point up.
That's fine.
I think it's one like if you like Garrus as much as I do, you'll understand completely what this quote means, and it's something that he says to your character, and it's, there is no Vicarian without Shepard. There is no Shepard without Vicarian. I can't remember which way around it is now, but yeah, there is no Vicarian without Shepard. And that's right. I could not see myself getting to the end of Mass Effect 3 without having Garrus.
You need him.
You need him. You need him.
But he probably needs Shepard as well, so it's like it's a dual partnership.
Yeah, he would have gone off he would have took a running jump off a short ledge if he didn't have something to occupy him.
He looks beautiful sat behind you, mind, I must say. You know, that picture is absolutely stunning, and if anyone is listening on audio, I do urge you to even go and have a look at Sarah's backdrop. It is absolutely beautiful.
The picture I'm using for audio is the is just like the main image that's used on the Mass Effect Legendary Edition game cover.
I love blue.
It's got like the curve of the earth with the blue, the Shepard helmet with all the characters running down the back of the head into the shoulder.
It's very movie-esque.
This is actually not the face in the middle, but the Reapers in the background. coming down towards the planet is actually
Yeah.
my Steam background profile. And the
I
Reapers
love it.
they actually move in that picture as well. I love
That's
it.
cool.
Oh, so cool. I love that. I love that picture. I love people's use of blues and greens, and looks stunning. Stunning.
But yes, I am absolutely in love with Mass Effect.
You don't say.
Well, the first video I did for the group was my I'm Commander Shepard one.
Oh, good God.
Do you remember that, Sammie?
Vaguely. Jesus, Sarah. I can't remember what I did this morning, and I know that I did a recording this morning. Yeah,
I'm
when it
Commander
comes...
Shepard, and this is my favorite cult on the internet.
Oh my God. Oh wow. No, I've been doing Nerdy Up North now for 3 years, and everything's just starting to amalgamate into one. That actually happened on year 1, to be honest. So Christ, my brain's even more mush. And now it's getting the same with monsters. I can't remember half the stuff that I have done now.
Oh, bless you.
I know, I make suggestions on episodes, and Dan's like, you do know we've already done that.
Oops.
All right. Are we doing any more? Or honorary mentions?
Yeah, I think we should do some honorary mentions. Do you have any, Sammie?
I do.
I've got plenty, God knows that.
I do. And it was the one that I was like, because I'm not going to, like, I found this subject matter to be very hard for one reason, and I have put a roadblock up myself. It is not the subject matter, because when I really look into it, when it comes to sci-fi, because it's not horror, because it's not superheroes, I just go, oh, I don't know. But I do. We were talking earlier before we came on, and we started talking about a certain genre, which is superheroes. And then I started to realize that when you said Doctor Who, and then you've done it, and I was like, okay, I can go with this one because she is in space, and she is one of my favorite female superheroes. So she does fall within the female category, but it is Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy. I adore comic book Gamora. However, you get to see comic book Gamora more in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That's more because comic book Gamora, she's tough. She actually has regeneration. She can regenerate. What am I trying to say? What is
regeneration?
Yes, thank you. She can do that. She's a bitch. She's a lovable bitch at times when she wants to be, but it's essentially she's a bitch, and she's hard as F. And she's a very different take on Gamora that you see on, and I'm not saying that Gamora was bad. It's just not my Gamora.
Yeah.
The Gamora is one of my honorary mentions. But I'm gonna save the deep dive for something later on for another episode. Have you got any honorary mentions?
I do, and that is Starbuck, Kara Frace from Battlestar Galactica. She is one of my favorite characters in the Battlestar Galactica universe, and I would recommend that anyone who hasn't seen Battlestar Galactica go and watch, not just for this character because I think she's amazing, but just the overall awesomeness of that series. Have you guys seen it?
I haven't,
What
but
do you
it's
think?
been on my watch list for a while now.
I would really recommend it. I think you would both like it because it's not Star Trek. It's a lot more grittier than Star Trek. And it kind of heads more towards Star Wars, but it's not Star Wars because it doesn't have lightsabers and it doesn't have pew pew pews. Yeah, so it's a good one. But Kara Frace is one of my favorite characters in the whole fandom of everything because she just kicks ass and she does not take any prisoners from men, women, Cylons, nothing. She's amazing. What about yourself, Sarah? Do you have any honorable mentions?
Do you guys only have one each?
I've got
like 6.
I've got more. So I've also got Captain Scarlet because I love that series, and I think it's kind of the conversation that we've had tonight has kind of inspired me that I'm actually going to have to go back and watch Captain Scarlet because I need to find out more. I need to figure out what is going on with Captain Scarlet because I can't remember all the lore for it. I'm trying to think, who else do I have?
Sorry, I have a kitty fight going on next to us. It's like they keep that far away from each other. They're like leaning over to tap each other, and there's no force behind it. You're pathetic, really. I'll give an honorary shout while you're thinking to Princess Leia. General Leia Organa. She's the baddest bitch of them all, really, when it comes down. And Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
Yep.
Madam
The
Carrie.
woman. The woman is never use past tense when it comes to
She went
Carrie.
home. She went home.
Oh, did she? Did you ever watch her one woman show?
No, I haven't seen
Oh
it.
my gosh, I'll find the title for it. She does a one woman show, and it literally is all about her. And she does this amazing family tree where she tries to convince you that her father had a relationship with somebody else who's in her family, but actually they don't. But she does this amazing family tree. The whole thing is all about her sobriety, all about her mental health. Her family plays a huge part in it, and is literally just an audience for Carrie Fisher. But she's brilliant. But also Princess Leia is, so again, someone I didn't appreciate as a child, and didn't until later on in life. Now I couldn't not imagine not having a Princess Leia type of conversation in my head where I'm like, what would Princess Leia do? Hopefully not what she did on the last movie, because that was, she died. Okay, that's
There was some pretty epic Carrie Fisher interviews as well on TV. Like I've enjoyed some of them. Like
she was an amazing writer as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever read her Princess Diaries book. That was absolutely phenomenal. What is it? Terms of Endearment, which is the movie that she wrote that stars Shirley MacLaine and Meryl Streep as mother-daughter combo. It is literally her and her mother.
Okay.
Yeah, she was an amazing writer, like not just for books, for television. I'm now feel like I'm honoring Carrie Fisher as opposed to Princess Leia, but it's like hard not to do.
But that's okay.
When you're talking about Princess
Carrie's
Leia,
she's an icon of sci-fi still.
Yeah.
Oh, did you ever watch the documentary that they did just before she died? Oh my gosh, Bright Lights was it called?
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, ball. Every time she has a manic moment while they're recording. It's actually Fisher Stevens who directs it. If no one's familiar with Fisher Stevens, he is in Friends. He plays one of Phoebe's boyfriends. He's in Short Circuit. He's in The Burning. So he directs this. He does documentaries, and he did this one with Carrie Fisher, and it was and Debbie Reynolds, and it was brilliant. So yeah, there you go. Did you think of yours while I was rambling away there, Becca?
Me? Oh,
yeah, you were thinking of one, and I was sorry.
Yeah, it was Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly, because that's a series that
What's not to like about Space Cowboys?
Yeah, Space Cowboys. If you're talking about sci-fi, I think it's one of those ones that you cannot not mention, because it's had one season and a movie, and it should have had so much more. But it's one of those ones that's very, very complicated, because the fandom it's either one way or another. But yeah, no, I do enjoy my Space Cowboys, and what could have been.
Come on then, Sarah, list your 6 off.
Well, Firefly was one of mine. Although I kind of felt like I should point out Kaylee, just because she is a kick-ass engineer, which wasn't really a traditional female role, but she was the best at it.
Yep.
And proved her worth against the original engineer. So, yep.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, I'm going to put Scully in there. I didn't want to make it too obvious in my choices.
I'd be disappointed.
And today when we were talking about it, because I was like trying to break down sci-fi for me, and he went, Dana Scully, I went, Sarah's going to mention it.
God, what I'm trying to do, right, is anybody that I've spoken about for more than like 3 minutes on the show, I'm trying to choose a different character each time.
I want to be able to. I want you to be able to roll Dana Scully into every episode that we do going forward.
But I'm already trying to do that with Kate Mulgrew.
I'm not
I'm
doing an
shouting
Orange
out
is the New Black
Janeway.
episode.
I'm shouting out Janeway. There's my Flemish link.
Oh.
I think that we should shout out Lucille Ball.
Yes, we should.
For getting Star Trek on the TV in the first place.
Yes,
yes,
so
we
much.
should. I totally forgot about that. That just brought it on. I'm a huge Lucille Ball fan and huge I Love Lucy fan. Like do I own them or does Michaela own them? We have one of us has them on. I want to say either possibly video from when we originally bought them. Yeah, because when we used to go to Universal Studios, there was a section that was I Love Lucy shop. So there must have been something years ago for the I Love Lucy show, but it just got condensed into a shop. That's what happens at Universal Studios. And we bought lunch tins that were in the shape of the telly and we bought all sorts and VHSs as well. So she has all of the I Love Lucy's. But yes, for starting Star Trek, that's an amazing shout out. Oh, I love it.
Sorry, there's a crying baby walking through the room.
That's okay. You honestly don't need to apologize. You are both parents. I've had 2 cats going absolutely nuts.
To be fair, I'm enjoying the cat fights behind you. To be fair, I've just seen a cat nearly go up your wall.
You parkoured off the side of the thingy.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Yeah, there was an episode of Monsters where he literally, because he bunny hops, and he just all you saw was just bunny hop across the room. It's ridiculous. So no, don't you panic. It's only because I'm the only person in the house I can't close the door. So I value my carpet at the other side. Oh, but I love the fact that you mentioned Lucille Ball. That's really made me smile.
And I'm gonna do a mixed one here. I'm gonna shout out David Bowie, the ultimate space oddity.
Also, he was in Dune.
Yes. And The Man Who Fell to Earth.
That's what I said. Yeah. Was it The Man Who Sold the Earth?
No, fell to.
Sold.
The Man Who Sold the World the Song.
Damn it. Me trying to think. I'm no David Bowie fan. Let's be very clear on that. I am no my mum and sister are. My mum's running album is Black Star.
It's a very good album.
Do you think you can run to it?
I couldn't run to it. No, I couldn't run to it.
I'd be running off a cliff listening to that. It's so depressing. But he was also in Dune. He was in the original 1984 Dune.
Yes.
He was so good in it as well. Oh, what was it? He was in another film as well. No, I'm thinking of Sting. Sorry. And I'm thinking of Sting for Dune as well. It's Sting. It's not David Bowie at all. Bowie wasn't in Dune. It was Sting. At least I got it right and didn't hold on to that one. And someone send us a message going, "Well, did you know? You're wrong." Oh, who else?
Mary Shelley?
Frankenstein.
I've actually got a question for you.
Defining a genre?
Before we finish, yes.
When
do you guys think the earliest and most commonly cited text looking at early precursors to science fiction happened? When do you...
Facty fact.
It's my fact of the fact.
That's so hard because when I think of pre anything, I only can go to the 1920s and I am stuck there because the universal movement is happening and that's where my brain can only go to.
Okay, so my little fact for the day is science fiction and the earliest text editions, so the precursors to science fiction, comes from Mesopotamia, and it's 2000 BC, and they're called the Epic of Gilgamesh. So it's what science fiction is as old as the first recorded fiction.
That is
there
crazy.
You go. That's absolutely mental.
And I'm set in the 1920s.
I thought you were going to say something like the 1600s. I thought you were going to say something like that.
I thought you were going to
But-
go in maybe the 1800s. I think I'm thinking of like Lovecraft and
It's known as one of the oldest works because it features floods. So it's apocalyptic science fiction.
Apocalyptic, yeah.
Yes.
hey, one of the worst sci-fi writers of all time managed to make a whole fucking cult out of it. So L. Ron Hubbard,
Mm-hmm.
failed
Indeed.
science fiction writer, was like, hang on a minute, let's just take this science fiction and we'll make a church out of it.
Yes. But do we have any reminders for anything that's coming up?
I mean, I've just got the general gist of what's going on in the podcast routine.
Go
But
on,
first,
lay it down.
Well, lay it down. We've got nothing else to shout out there.
No, I'm good.
Nope.
We've got the
What else?
videos after this, so if you guys
We have.
yes, if you carry on watching right to the end, we'll have some videos from the nerds of Nerdy Up North telling us what their favourite science fiction characters and series are.
Ooh, fancy.
We called in a few favors.
Fancy.
Right, so next month we are going to be talking about Marvel, just in general. Choosing favorite characters, favorite series, covering the comics, movies, whatever we want fancy talking about for that. And that actually ties in quite well with the Nerdy Up North's Countdown to Doomsday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Nerdy Up North are also talking about V for Vendetta on Sunday, which is tomorrow. And Monsters on Monday will be covering, in my opinion, an absolute classic, Shaun of the Dead.
We
So
need to be cheered up. I think
I'm
last
so
week's
excited.
episode.
I absolutely love Simon Pegg.
It's one of my favourite films. I'm already planning to be there. I don't care how
Yeah.
much sleep I've had, I will be there in the
hearts.
comments.
Bless your hearts. You do know that you can go and watch it later
No,
on.
no, no.
Yeah.
I want to be there because Lee and Chris will spoil it for me otherwise. So no, I have to be there.
Aw.
I will have to play catch up this week because we're on a fortnightly Pathfinder now because of one of the players' shifts. So it is the week that we are all playing in person. So yeah,
Ah.
I'll be playing catch up next week, but I am looking forward to it still.
Yes.
Next week, Top Grumps are doing Spike from Cowboy Bebop.
Yep.
Chris did specify they're going to do the anime Spike.
Yes.
Yes, thank God, because it's one. Do you know what? I'm no anime person. Like anime is my husband's thing, but he made me watch the series, the movie. I love it. I love it. There is a movie that accompanies the series as well, just in case you didn't know. I
Yeah,
own them all
I really enjoyed it.
in a very fancy box.
And Trekking will be reviewing the new season of Lower Decks episode by episode, which should be fun as well.
Yay, Trek!
Yay! Trek!
The thing is, the audio listeners are just going to think you're shouting Trek and not showing the beautiful cup that you. Well,
It's a
bottle.
metal drinking container with the Star Trek logo on the front, and it says, "Let's see what's out there" on the back. This actually was a unclaimed prize in a Nerdy Up North raffle, and Lee just decided to give me this.
Oh, that's so cool.
Damn.
I wish it said, "Let's see what's out there." ... Let's not. Oh, that's like a perfect Trek cup for me. And still drinks out of the one that you give me all the time, Becca. Yeah, drinks out of it all the time. He loves them style mugs, so that's one of his favorites.
I've got loads of them. Yeah.
Well, it's Anne's favorite. Please don't give
Oh,
me
well,
any more. I've
I'm
got absolutely
it's
no
Anne's
room.
favourite. Okay, so anything else for anyone?
I think that's it.
I think Sarah covered everything that's coming up.
Brilliant. So keep your hearts full and your fandoms fierce, and we will see you next month to discuss Marvel. Bye.
Bye.
There's so many good sci-fi movies and TV shows that I can think of. Like, there's probably hundreds. So I found it really hard choosing just one favourite character. But I'd probably have to go with the Doctor from Doctor Who. And I think this is probably one of the first characters I was introduced to as a child and then continued loving into the series into adulthood as well. My favourite Doctors has always been David Tennant and Matt Smith because they were some of the first episodes that I really got into and loved. So they're like kind of my Doctors. I won't mention who I don't like because I don't want the hate. But yeah, so the Doctor is such a like good, like complex character as well, because there's no like guns involved or anything. They use the wits and just sheer dumb luck sometimes. But yeah, just wherever they go, they just try and help people and they give others hope. So I think that aspect, along with sci-fi, is just great. So I would say the Doctor from Doctor Who.
Greetings, women of nerd culture. Okay, I'll stop doing the robot voice now. You wanted to know my favourite sci-fi character. So I thought long and hard, and I knew I was going to go to video games for this one. So I chose the series Mass Effect. And my favourite character from that series is Jack. And it is all for one moment. In the ending mission of Mass Effect 2, where you get to pick team members to do certain tasks and things. There was a moment where you have to pick between Samara, I believe, and Jack to do some kind of like biotic shield to like protect everyone. I believed in Jack, even though everything in the game was telling me to pick Samara. I was like, no, Jack can do it. She's proved herself. And you get this like really cool moment where she does it. She struggles, but we all got through it. And it was one of those like things where I was like, my choices and opinions in this game really matter. And I got to have a really cool moment. She survived. Unlike some team members of my Normandy. But anyway, yeah, Jack, the biotic nightmare with the tragic backstory rules. And it was really good to see her become a teacher in Mass Effect 3 and end up with all that good stuff. But yeah, sci-fi. It's pretty cool.
So, we were asked this week to do a short video for the Women of Nerd Cultures podcast, because it's on sci-fi. Like last month asked us to talk about our favourite vampires. They've been asked to talk about our favourite people in sci-fi. So what I'm going to do, there's so many obvious choices, but I'm going to go from my favourite piece of sci-fi as a child. I used to love watching this show. I used to watch it with my dad, and it used to be so much fun. My favourite person in sci-fi is Mr. Sam Beckett from Quantum Leap. Just because the premise of the show is so fun. It's like literally you can go anywhere in history and right the wrongs or fix things the way it should have been. It's such a wholesome premise, and like you see, it has legs. It has so much fun. It was so ahead of its time back in the day when it came out. So yes, I'm going with Sam Beckett. Like you say, hopefully one day he'll get home. Oh boy.
Hello, I'm Joe, and I've been asked by the ladies of the Women of Nerd Culture podcast to talk about my favourite science fiction character. Science fiction has always been rich with empowering female characters to choose from, such as Captain Janeway or Jadzia Dax from Star Trek, Captain Samantha Carter from the Stargate series, or Ellen Ripley from the Alien franchise. But when it comes to science fiction, there's always going to be one love in my life, and that is Battlestar Galactica. There are a number of strong women in this show, but I thought I'd go beyond the obvious today and make a bit of a classier pick. By today, my choice is President Laura Roslin. Mary McDonnell does a fantastic job portraying the dying leader of the 12 colonies, guiding the human race through their second exodus. Gives colourful depth to a character tormented by turmoil and flaws and grief, facing her own mortality with anger and bitterness, but also able to provide hope and wisdom, philosophy and understanding to those around her. Able to face her problems with dignity and grace. Always pragmatic and a realist, she is a politician through and through. She makes some terrible choices, and they do come back to bite her. But sometimes she's also just the sweetest lady. She's also sometimes quite terrifying.
Colonel Ty, get in here! Take him, I want you to toss him out the nearest airlock!
But she's still really, really sweet. She always gets the job done, and that is why President Laura Roslin of the 12 Colonies of Cobalt gets my vote.